He's back. He's back better than ever, as opposed to last Tuesday when he wasn't able to join us. Saquon Barkley of the Eagles joining us on the program. Give me the difference in morale, how you're feeling this Tuesday as opposed to last Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, Victory Mondays are definitely a lot better. But for me, to be honest, something I've been wanting to focus on this season. Work on my trainers or work or whatever, one of my mentors is not really getting too caught up in the results and just fall in love with the process. So week to week, just being consistent in that. And if I'm able to stay more consistent, I'm gonna have gain more games like this week, rather than a loss.
How long does that loss stay with you?
It's probably, it's definitely a little more difficult when, there's usually 3 to 4 plays a game that win or lose you a game. And when you're part of that reason, it sticks with you a little longer. But I kind of just had a nice little hour ride back home because of traffic after the game. Went to sleep, woke up, watched film, watched the play, and kind of just put it in pass. That's the beauty of the NFL. You got this. We had to go to New Orleans Saints right away. So you couldn't really, harp on it too much, but learn from your mistakes and move on from it.
What was film session like?
I mean, when you really break it down, I probably had a better game, not statistically, against Atlanta than I had this week against the Saints. But just one play. I was consistent that whole game, and I just relaxed in a big moment and, dropped the ball.
But then you get the tight game against New Orleans. Do you say anything? Like, what's the huddle like with the game on the line? Who's talking other than Jalen?
All of us, all of us. I think that's the beauty of this team. We got a lot of, captains and leaders on this team. And at that moment, I can remember in the huddle right before that 2 minute drive, we're all looking at each other just saying, no matter what, find a way. Just continue to believe in each other. And we're going to go down and drive and put points on the board. And Dallas came up big for us on that drive.
Can you lobby for the ball? Like receivers do this all the time. Can you go back and say either to offensive coaches or quarterback that give me the ball?
Yeah. The beauty of having Kellen on the sideline is, he has a better feel for the game. He can get a feel for the game. So sometimes, you're in the game and you get in that zone and you're flowing right. You can look to the sideline, or when you're over there, you can let them know like, this is what I see, this is what I like, and this is what I don't like. You can have those conversations, and it can get changed right there.
Is the running game back? Like, I don't want to overreact to this, but it certainly feels like teams are running the ball a little bit more through 3 weeks.
Yeah, I would say so. I'm not trying to overreact to it either, but you see a lot of backs, having a lot of great games. That's just the nature of the game. You're paying a lot of money to these quarterbacks and to these wide receivers. So defense got to come up with, game plans and schemes to make sure you don't throw the ball around. And we have all that. We have great receivers, great tight ends, great linemen, and I believe I'm a pretty decent back, and we have a great quarterback. So we haven't even put it all together yet. So when we put it all together, we're going to be a hard team to stop.
Yeah, but I don't understand this, that the running back got kicked to the curb. Everybody else got paid, and running backs didn't. Like you were like scratching and clawing just to get, $1 million more or whatever it was. Like, it felt like you're almost begging for people to pay you what you think you're worth. What was the process like going through that?
I think it's just the timing, it's just bad timing, especially for me, when it was time for me to get paid. But it's everyone is all into analytics and stats and this and that. And, if you look at the numbers of what's the highest rusher that was paid the most in the Super Bowl, and, it's the quarterbacks. And obviously the quarterbacks is the one that fuels it. And, you can get a lot of these great backs in later rounds and, use them for 3 years and then continue to have that. But, I think that's just something that people just make up. It's not real to me. I think one of the better quarterbacks in NFL right now is Brock Purdy. Shout out to him. Obviously on the Applebee sponsorship together. But he was the last pick of the draft. You know what I mean? He was the last pick of the draft, and NFC Championship game the year before, Super Bowl game last year. So it's just everything. It's kind of just what they want the motive to be. But I'm just blessed and happy for the opportunity that I have right now.
You should go to Applebee's full uniform. Just walk in, sit down, eye black, helmet on, just place an order, just sit there.
I think I should, and especially get the 50% boneless wings, what they have going
Oh,
on right now. So, and if I go on a cheat day, get my favorite triple chocolate meltdown cake.
we've been doing this. I've been doing this a long time. It's very rare when somebody reaches out and sends a personal note, a text to say, I'm sorry, I can't join you. I have great respect for you and certainly appreciated you doing that. You didn't have to. I did agree that you shouldn't have come on after that loss. It wouldn't have been a good look for you, but you had a sponsorship there. But thank you for sending the text to the show. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. I felt like that was the right thing to do. And I saw what you put out there, and I agree too. I don't think more so of not being a good look for me because at the end of the day, I'm a big boy. I get paid a lot of money, and that happens when you make mistakes or you let a team down. You got to face those questions, and I did that after the game, and to be honest, throughout the whole week leading up to the Saints. But I definitely felt like it would have took off a lot of the focus on the sponsor and Applebee's and the official bar and grill of the NFL. And I said 50%, not 50%, 50-cent boneless wings, by the way. But yeah, but for me, I just felt like that was the right thing to do. And, being a big fan of your show and obviously, talking to you and sitting down with you and, kind of being a mentor and giving me a lot of great advice, I felt like that was the right thing to do.
All right. If you need advice to go into this business one day, my advice would be to get into the business quicker while you're still playing. I think that's really important. Is get some reps here. Learn how to ask questions, or if you're going to be just an analyst, watch analysts, certain analysts, and say, all right, I'm going to pattern myself. But if this is what you want to do, start working on that now. As I told you when I think I saw you in Miami at the Super Bowl.
Yeah. On that topic, how do you feel about podcasts for athletes?
Well, you got to tell me something, and you got to be careful. Like Micah Parsons, to me, is becoming more for a podcaster in what he says than the way he's playing because Dallas hasn't been playing well, and he's a wonderful player. It's just you got to be careful if you're going to do one. What are you saying while you're still playing? And people aren't going to just tune in and go, "Oh, Saquon Barkley's got a podcast." They want to know what is different about your podcast. And that's the true challenge that I tell athletes or former athletes. What are you telling me that I can't get elsewhere? What are you doing that's different than anybody else? That would be the challenge that I would have for you. Have somebody on with you, but you got to say things. You got to have content there, and a lot of people don't want to say anything. So that's where I would caution you. If you go in and do it, then do it and have a purpose, have a game. I mean, it's no different than you week in, week out. Have a game plan. But you got to have that game plan. Draymond Green has done a pretty good job, but he likes being a bad guy. He likes being the villain. Are you capable of, like, you're too likable. Can you be a bad guy? Do you want to be a villain? Those are things that you have to embrace, and that's really the big challenge I find for athletes.
Yeah, I think more of a find a ways like on a bye week or play a Thursday night game in a short week, trying to get on television and then do stuff like that because that's absolutely something I want to do. I've had a passion for it ever since I got in the league. But like you said, I think you have to be able to have purpose behind it, and it's hard to balance, especially in the NFL. And you only have 17 weeks, and when you're balling and you're playing high, it's easy to go on that show and talk. But if you have a important drop in Monday Night Football and everyone's saying you suck and you should go back to New York, I do like the podcast for athletes because I feel like it gives you a say, especially during my whole conversation or the whole negotiation process with New York, and there would be stories leaked of me and, oh, is this number or that number? It gives you your voice. But I think you hit it on, I think you hit it on the head.
But Saquon, that's the right approach. But would you have been willing to come on after that loss when you dropped the pass that next day and do a podcast and be honest with people? Would you be honest with, some of the hate that you got from fans, the anger you got from fans? Now, if you do that, now you got some people's attention there. But are you willing to do that to be that revealing?
Yeah, I think it depends, right? It's easier, I feel like, when it's all on my back because I can go in there and talk about myself. But like you said, when I'm working for a brand, and obviously we're here on behalf of Applebee's, kind of taking the spotlight away from them when they've been doing a tremendous job for me, and putting
Sure.
me in a position. So when it's on your own self, and it's I do it anyway. I have 20,000 cameras in my face saying, "How do you feel about that drop?" and this and that and the third. So it's like I answer the question. So I feel like you have your voice there, but then you also have your voice on your own platform. But it's a give and take, and it's tough. And I think Micah, obviously being a good friend of Micah, I think he's doing a great job. But like I said, especially in that market, it definitely could be, you know, Dallas, Philly, and New York. Those probably the
You
three.
got to win. You got to
Yeah,
win. I mean,
yeah.
that makes it a whole lot easier. What bothered you about Hard Knocks in how you were portrayed?
To be honest, it really wasn't Hard Knocks. It was more the year prior with negotiation, because like you would get these numbers that would come out and be like Saquon turned down this and Saquon turned down that, and like some of the numbers would be correct, but they would give you some of the truth, but not the whole truth, and like just the truth to kind of spin it and make a certain person look bad. And it's just like, well, all right, if me and you are having this conversation, right, and we're talking numbers, and then it goes out that this number was said, and only me and you had this conversation,
Yeah.
and I'm not the one who said it. I know it definitely came from you. So for the Hard Knocks thing, I thought the Hard Knocks was a cool, unique way to let fans in, because obviously it's always been about training camp, but let fans in and see the off season and see how it really like, because I watched the episode 3, and I think it was cool how they had like the poker table, and like they're like, okay, this is where you gotta do this with the spot, get the offensive lineman. It gives fan the opportunity to see that, have that perspective. But for me, it was weird, I guess, because a lot of it was about me, and like I was like, it felt like it was just like, all right, my name was just getting used, because in reality, it was like I had one phone call with Joe, which was the phone call that was on, and my agent probably spoke to him a couple times, but like on this side, like in my life, in reality, it was like the Giants really never were actually in play the second time for me going to negotiation or hitting the free agency, when they could have been the whole time. So it was fun. It was different. But I really think it was cool for the fans for sure.
Yeah, I felt bad for you because I don't think you knew that you were being taped, that this was on camera, that you're kind of negotiating. And then when did you find out that they were going to put that on Hard Knocks and you didn't even know that you were being recorded?
Yeah, I don't, I wasn't upset about that. It's part of the business. Like I said, I didn't find out to the trailer. I saw a trailer of like the Hard Knocks of the Giants, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be pretty cool. And I looked at it, and then I heard, a conversation of me. But I wasn't really upset about it. Honestly, I reached out to Joe, and I was just like, I wish you would have told me. I would have put my acting voice on. I would have gave, I don't know, I would have gave a TV answer, and made it a little more fun, spiced up the show a little bit more. But yeah, it's that really didn't bother me. And I don't
Well,
think I
when they
said
told
anything.
you, Saquon, when they told you, hey, go out and get another offer and then let us know, I'm like, who does that? Who says, hey, good luck out there, and then, but let us know. Hey, you're going to let us know. And I go, he's not going to let you know. Once he gets that offer, he's gone. You're not coming
Uh,
back. It's like if you say to your wife, hey, if you find a better offer, go ahead. But, I hope you come back to me, hon.
Hey, listen, you're talking way too logical right now. A lot of people need to think a little more like you, if I'll be honest. Um, that conversation too. I had a whole year. He said, Joe said it took however many years off his life, the negotiation process the year before, but it probably took 10 times more on my life. But shout out to my
Yeah.
agent. To be honest, before the conversation, he was just like, just keep it short and sweet. So I didn't overreact to that. I just kind of, I said what I said, and I still feel the same way about New York and the Giants organization. Got nothing but love for those guys, and Mr. Mayor family and Tish family.
Yeah, you're just glad that you're in an Eagles uniform instead of a Giants uniform.
I'm having a blast. I'm blessed. I'm still in the NFL. I'm loving it. There's some guys that would love to be in my position.